come here to Unity to get a shift in perspective. Sometimes we can get a little stuck in our thought processes or even stuck in some situation in our lives that seems to be insurmountable. But we come here to get a shift in our perspective and to see things more clearly.
Good morning. I'm going to ask everybody just to stand up for me. When I stepped outside this morning, the air felt so warm on my skin. And I thought, this season is shifting. Sometimes the clouds of winter roll away. And I want you to take a big, deep breath in and start with your hands at your hips. I want you to know that you can see clearly now. And when you can see clearly, all good things will be revealed to you. So when we sing the chorus, it's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. You can turn to your neighbor and sing, I want to give you a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I want to give you a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And when I look into your eyes, I see the bright, bright, sunshiny day shining right back at me.
Now, on that same note, as a blessing for the big people, I've asked Karen Douglas to come and read a poem. It's more of a quote that's, I think, familiar to you. But it's the same kind of reminder that there is a wholeness that is in us, that is greater than our smaller selves. And here it is. I think you'll recognize it.
This is from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I know, from talking to a few of you this morning, I know that some of you are coming here with prayer requests, things that are happening in beloved's lives, people that you love. Maybe there are things happening in your life that at times can seem insurmountable or overwhelming. Maybe as you hear the news or look out into our world situation, you feel afraid. But this quote is telling us that as we liberate ourselves from our fears and connect with the greater whole, that our presence can liberate others, the situation, and I think unleash the powers of good, the powers of God. So let's go into a moment of prayer right now. And take a deep breath and center into yourself and just feel the awareness of the presence of concerns that you have. Concerns right now. Concerns for yourself, for your own healing or wholeness. Concerns for others that you have. Mind. Name the people, name the situations. Yes, naming all of these situations. And now, take a deep breath. And feel yourself coming in, deeper into yourself, centering down and in. And in the seat of your soul, in the heart of you, is the presence. The presence of the divine. The presence of love. The presence of the all-powerful. The presence of God, Goddess, the one who created all that is. It's a powerful act just to do this. Just stand back once in a while. It's like going out there and laying on the grass and looking up at the stars. This act of going within and realizing that deep within here, there's a wholeness. It's what the Huichols taught me to call seeing it from a God's eye view. From this deeper place, in the seat of our soul, we can feel that we are one with love. And the tapestry of our lives and all the different situations that are happening are all woven together and are held in this web of life. this web of, we call it the divine feminine sometimes. Scientists are even saying that at the core of the universe there is a God essence. Ernest Holmes said, life is one perfect wholeness. The universe is a unit. God is one. So if any human feels separate from spirit, she can't help but feel lost and in want, as if in prison, restricted from love and understanding. But when we connect with the infinite in such moments, kindled in the silence of our own souls, grounded in our true spiritual nature, we come into balance. We're able to see from this perspective of perfect wholeness. The Buddha said, she who experiences the unity of life sees her own self in all beings and all beings in her own self. So in this moment, starting right here, where we are, with whatever circumstances you just brought to mind that you or others that you know have to deal with, right here in this present moment of our lives, we can practice the presence and practice gratitude for everything. So right now, just say thank you over each of those things that you brought to your mind as a prayer request. Say thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for this exact thing happening. The right lessons will be learned. The help will come. A shift in consciousness will come through these circumstances. Life's goodness is on its way. A greater abundance than we've even yet imagined is on its way. Life is one perfect wholeness. God is one, and we are not separate from the divine. Just feel that right now, shifting those circumstances. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, yes, yes we can, yes we can. And so it is, so it is. Amen. Oh. Thank you, Richard, for that deep flute playing. I love that shakuhachi because it really takes us into that sense of centeredness in ourselves. There can't be a talk about wholeness unless we describe a little bit of the psychology of what we're talking about in wholeness. Because we can talk about a wholeness and a unity out there in the world, but what about right within our own selves? So often we don't experience a wholeness right within our own selves. The famous psychologist who I love and have read a lot of, Carl Jung, describes the process of becoming aware of oneself, of one's own makeup, in his psychology. He tells us, and we know that for as long as humans have existed, there are always people who are asking themselves the question that you and I ask ourselves too, is, who am I really? Am I this person who's really smiley and nice to everybody? Or am I the one who, when I'm at home, loses my temper and is mean to somebody? Who am I? Who am I really? There's no simple answer. But Jung talks about the individuation process. If you've been around me in the journey to completion, you've heard that term, the individuation process. So individuation, you can hear in it becoming an individual. And that's significant because to become an individual is a lifelong process. You don't just wake up when you're a baby and you're your full-blown individual self. However, we do come in, like the poet Wordsworth says, trailing streams of glory. We do come in with an essence self, and we might come to call that our higher self, or our self with a capital S, right? So we have this essence self, but then we come to planet Earth, and we're walking through our lives, And we develop what Jung calls our persona and our shadow. And so you're all, lots of you are nodding your heads because you hear me talk about this. It's important to just get a little psychology that we agree on here. Because what happens to humans is that we do develop these two parts of ourselves. And some spiritual teachings don't really acknowledge that very much, They talk about maybe the shadow self is like sin or something that we have to get rid of or squelch in ourselves. But in Jungian psychology, and the way that I believe, we have this persona and this shadow that are both parts of who we are. And the way that we develop them is that our persona comes along when we get a difficult experience and we realize, oh, I better be this way to please people. And so we start acting in certain ways. And we may even go into careers and choose jobs to please certain people. So we develop a persona self. Are you with me? Everybody know about, now just think about your persona self for a minute, okay? Think about what you did in your life that was done in order to be good and to please people and to make everything okay with your family maybe, or with your children. And then we have a shadow self, and that's a part of us that has to go under into our unconscious. So our persona is pretty conscious, and our shadow is unconscious. And it's those parts of us that have not been acceptable, that we haven't really been able to speak out about or tell others about. But as life goes on, this becomes sort of like a pressure cooker setup. And the pressure cooker little jiggly thing on the top starts wiggling, and in certain moments, the shadow comes out, and things burst out that we didn't want to, and then we get aware of it and we go, whoa, I better deal with my shadow. So lots of you come to the journey to completion when that starts to happen, and I'm thankful to have that safe container to invite you into. Humans all through time have been through this, and the safe containers that spiritualities and religions have developed are called initiations, initiation paths. And this is why humans have to go on initiation paths, because we have to actually go under some ordeals or some things that happen to us that deconstruct our setup here of our persona and our shadow, that hold it in that rigid place. We've got to go through a deconstruction of it. And then a rebuilding of a truer self, right? So we go through this over and over again in life. And I've been thinking about this because I just saw the movie yesterday at the Varsity, Walking the Camino. Have you seen it yet? I hope that you all get to see it. It was going to just be here for a week, but now it's going to be held for 2 weeks. So you all have a chance to see it. And it's about humans who for hundreds of years now have been walking this pathway in Spain. And it's a 500-mile long path over lots of rough terrain. And people of all ages and sizes and fitness levels do it because they're seeking to go into this kind of a initiation process, an individuation process, where they'll confront their persona. And so one of the women talks about how she's got this competitive thing. She thinks she's always got to be out front, and then people start passing her on the trail, and it brings it up. So when you put yourself in an initiation process, you're going to be confronted with your persona and your shadow, things that irritate you, your pains, and they're confronting you in order to help you to deconstruct the way you have held yourself, and to come all the way through to a new whole self. So it's a beautiful movie. I'm not going to say any more about it so that it's a surprise to you. But I really encourage you to see it and to realize that we are, psychologically speaking, as humans, we're all very much alike. We've all got to go on these paths. And in our culture, in Western culture, we've lost some of the traditions of going on initiation pathways like this. And so things like the Camino, the pathway in Spain, are becoming very popular again, as is going to John of God, or going on these journeys that, and the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is a path. Yeah. And someday Denise is going to talk to us about astrology and the Kabbalah. Yeah, so there are many pathways that we're being drawn to that are initiatory pathways, right? So Jung said that now there's this movement in ourselves towards our wholeness, which is the individuation. And then he named also that there's the path of transcendence. So transcendence, that's what happens when we, as we come up and out, start to get in touch with our higher self, the love that sustains us. That happened to the people on the Camino. I hear it happening in Gemma's life again and again, and it's happening. As we come up and out of these situations, we come into contact with what Jung calls the transcendental function. The transcendental function, he says, has the capacity to unify these opposite tendencies in our personality. So you may have the tendency to want to get up early and go exercise, but then you have this other tendency to want to stay in bed and just read there. You may have this tendency to want to eat ice cream, but then you have this other tendency that wants to be healthy and thin. And so we have these opposite tendencies. And this kind of pathway, and what Jung calls this transcendental function, that he's saying exists in all of us, this transcendental function. We have a transcendental function. Do you get what I'm saying? Inside of us, there's something it's a common thing in all of humanity that is functioning to take us to this transcendent place where we are one with Source, where this union becomes very, very real. So that's what we have to do in the sense in our individual personalities, is take the time to recognize that we're on these pathways and that we're meant to, that it's in our very nature to come through to this union, this transcendent place. So I'm going to have Cerise and Richard come again and sing us a song that's about this. And I love the songs that Cerise brings because they're popular modern songs, and this one is by India Arie, right? Do you like India Arie? Do you know who she is? It's a black woman singer that's just really great, and this song's called The Hope, and it's about the hope that we have in our lives as we go on these pathways.
So let me teach you the chorus so you can sing with me. She says simply, there's hope. It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that. So let's sing that. There's hope. It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that. You sing that with me? There's hope. It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that. One more time. There's hope. It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that. That's beautiful. Back when I had a little, I thought that I needed a lot. A little was overrated, but a lot was a little too complicated. See, zero didn't satisfy me. A million didn't make me happy. That's when I learned the lesson that it's all about your perception.
you for putting a little energy into that.